Yeah, yeah, like you said, it's just a mindset reminder. Um, just at war with everything, war with myself to improve and overcome the hurdles I need to get through in order to be successful in this fight. At war with the doubters who think I can't do it. At war with a friend who's in front of my dreams and aspirations. So yeah, it's just war, man. Yeah.
Joshua, why is this fight happening now in your eyes?
Before I start, I want to thank everyone for coming out. The weather's bad outside, but I appreciate you lot showing up. Why this fight is important? Because we've all got friends in life, and again, no secret that Dan is a friend of mine, but what's at stake allows me to put that aside, allows him to put it aside. Of course, we're in the sport to look after people who want to look after, but to win more titles as well. So this puts me a step closer. So it's right now, to me, it's the most important fight of my life.
What do you think of...
Sorry, Ed. Sorry to interrupt you.
Blimey, you started already, Dan.
He asked, why is it happening now?
Why is it happening? Because you're the guy that I have to get through. It's the final eliminator. If it was anyone else, that would be great, but it happens to be Azeez, someone that I know, so it's got to be you, Dan. And I was calm this morning. Then Dan walked in with war on his hat. I said, blimey, Josh, wake the hell up. So I'm aware that October 21st is going to be war, and you guys will be there to witness it.
I think you guys have touched on it in a great gloves are off, a surprisingly good gloves are off. But is there any truth at all that you accepted this, that you look at Dan Azeez as a soft touch, that you feel that you're a level above Dan Azeez?
He didn't accept it. He asked for it.
Well, again, this is the narrative that Dan's come with, and there's someone else on this table that I should bring in, but I wouldn't do that.
No, bring him in.
The bottom line is, it doesn't matter, because October 21st, we are going to fight. Whether I think he's a soft touch, hard fighter, whatever it is, October 21st, he's going to be across the ring, and I know what's going to happen. So that's all that matters, and the soft touch or not, it don't matter to me.
Is there any truth in what I'm saying there, Dan? Do you believe that actually he's looked at this? There was that sort of veiled pat on the back when you two were in the studio together when he said, I won the British title 3 or 4 years ago. Congratulations. That he is looking at you as a step below.
Yeah, that's all fun and games, but yeah, he won the British title, 3 years ago or whatever, but then what? Do you know what I mean? I'm the British champion now, and I'm probably by the time it comes to the fight, I would have been British champion for 2 years. No one's dethroned me. I didn't just pick it up, win my title, then bounce like other champions have done. I've stood there. Anybody who wants to fight, bring it. I won it against a former British champion, defended it against a former world title champion, and I defended it against another former British champion. So I ain't had no easy touches. Like, it's all, yeah, fun and games. Yeah, I won it, whatever. But I've done my thing too. Do you know what I mean?
Do you mind if I ask you about that sort of old school throwback route to the top? We don't see it much in professional boxing, from area level all the way through. Can you explain a little bit just how proud you are of that journey that's got to this point?
Yeah, I'm proud, but like, do you know what I mean? It's not really so much about, the traditional route, or I was shit as an amateur, so I had to prove myself. Like, I didn't have no choice. Like, I was crap. So when I would go to promoters, they weren't interested in me. So I literally had to step by step, title by title, show that, look, I'm a contender. Do you know what I mean? These guys that you're mentioning, and you get me? I'm there. So it's not something that, I want to do it the old school way. I had no choice. If I wanted to get to where I needed to be, that was the route that I had to take. And thank God, that's what's molded me and made me the boxer and fighter that I am today. And hence why I'm here with Joshua Buatsi, who's an Olympian, an elite fighter. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, we're going to headline October 21st and give you guys one hell of a fight. I promise you. Because I need my hand raised, and I'm sure he definitely wants his hand raised. And yeah, we're not going to stop until, our goals are achieved.
Just to pick you up on what you said there, an elite fighter, yes, but one that you're very confident of beating?
Yeah, of course. Like, anyone I get in the ring with, the job's got to get done. You know, I could sit and be like, yeah, I'm confident. And Josh is a brilliant fighter. He's somebody who's, you know, I used to spar rounds upon rounds with him, Dwayne. Like, they helped me get to, you know, improve. Being around those elite fighters, it helps you grow. And do you know what I mean? And they're partly to do with it. But October 21st, a job's got to get done. It's as simple as that. There's no, I don't, you know, it's not about, yeah, I'm confident. I know his weaknesses or whatnot. I've just got to get the job done.
Presumably you echo that. Just history has told us that friendships actually lead to pretty brutal, pretty exciting fights. John Murray and Kevin Mitchell produced one of the most violent and brutal fights. Even Anthony Crolla and John Murray, who were good friends as well. The sparring that Dan mentioned there, it was actually one of Dan's team that said to me, isn't it great that they've punched holes in each other for free and now they're going to top the bill and get paid for it?
Definitely, it's good. Many rounds, no one received a penny from it. Just a text saying thank you, we do it again, and we did it. One thing I always want to draw attention to is, again, there's the narrative of the Olympics, and you know, you won this, so you've been put on this stool and all of that. I think one thing I never forget is to be chosen to go to the Olympic Games and stuff like that. It doesn't come easy. The times where I was having no summers, no breaks, no celebrations, nothing. My head was down. I was hustling all the time. Yes, I've been doing it from young, but there's a price to pay. And I pay those prices. You know, I'm from London, moved to Sheffield. The Olympic year, I stopped everything I was doing to go stay up there. There's a heavy price to pay. And, you know, people like to say, oh, you've had it a bit easier because you did this, you did that as an amateur. But the thing is, that's just because I took it serious at a younger age. Like, when I started, I said, I want to get this. So I put my head down. I grinded. There's a lot of price and sacrifice that's come with it. And all that being said, it leads to October 21st. So, yes, a good friend, all of that stuff. But, man, there's no emotion in the ring. So I'm looking forward to it.
In that promo that we put out for the Gloves Are Off, Dan says that actually about pressure, and you reference the Olympic cycle, he says you don't like pressure, that he thrives under pressure, and whilst you've coped with pressure, you don't actually invite it.
My dad was like, who likes pressure, Josh? I was like, it's true, but when my alarm goes off, today, I'll tell you one thing, the alarm went off at 6:30. I said, nah, it's Monday, let me ease off a bit. I've got to do this press run, it's going to be all day. Then I said, nah, I think Azeez is going to be doing something. So I texted my boy, I said, I'm going to see you at the gym. Straight away, I was there, got a session in, then I came here. So there's always pressure, Andy. Like, we don't talk about the pressure or whatever, but that's because I've been dealing with it for years. There's always pressure at the O2, the 21st of October. There's going to be pressure, but guess what? I'm going to be in that ring and I'm going to do what I have to do. So there's always pressure. So while we're talking about it and saying there's pressure on you, Josh, who cares? There's been pressure on me from the beginning. Sky Sports, all the old promoters that I've had, there's always been pressure. So it's just part of the game. Like, I don't even talk about it. It exists, but so what?
Let's bring in Ben Shalom. The fighters wanted to bring you in pretty early there. First things first, originally, both guys said, you know, we'll do it one day. Hopefully one day there'll be a world title on the line for it. It's not happened that way, but It doesn't take away anything from what this is probably one of the best fights that you've put on under the Boxer banner, you would say.
Yeah, I think, look, we have to, as boxing fans, we have to put up with a lot of rubbish, especially recently, and this just stands out as something very special. I think what a huge advert for the sport, what a huge advert for London. You know, two boys from the southern area, unbeaten, now headlining at the O2 on Sky Sports. It's special, and it doesn't happen often, and both fighters are putting a lot on the line here. I hear a lot about how hard Dan has worked to get to his position, and that's 100% right, but so is Joshua Buatsi, and I think for them both to do this at this stage of their career, with the unbeaten records, with world titles in touching distance, having ticked almost every box, they deserve a lot of credit, and I'm delighted to be involved. It isn't necessarily a fight we all saw coming at the start. We're here now, and Dan Azeez has a lot of credit to the fact that this is headlining at the O2 from where Dan was at 2 years ago. Says a lot about where he's got to, and yeah, it's a special fight.
You should have introduced Ben as Team Azeez. Just talking for Dan, bro. Real talk.
Look, for me, This
Ben,
was
it's true,
a
man.
very difficult fight to make. I think
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Listen.
Josh asked for me. You told me. I said, yeah, come, let's go.
Okay, well,
I was meant to have
October
other, like,
21st.
you know,
I think. Look, all boxing fans want in this situation is to see the best man win, and I think I've said that to both guys. Both of them, you know, are going into a very, very big fight for their careers. There is tension. There's been tension even in making the fight, but may the best man win. This is what boxing is about, and both of them will come out of this fight a lot better for it.
You're gonna text Dan something different though. I know it, bro. I know it. Did I ask for Dan? Nah. I said, listen, when I came to Sky, they said, Azeez. I said, nah, Dan's my guy, so give me someone else. After that fight, my second one, I said, I want to box straight away in August. Dan said, Josh, I'm fighting in July. Doesn't concern me because I'm trying to fight in August. Give me someone else. They said Azeez again. I said, is there anyone else? Because I keep saying Dan's my guy. But I will fight Dan if there's something at stake. They said, well, it could be a final eliminator for the WBA. I'm not going to say no to it. Dan's not going to say no to it. So it only makes sense. So, but the narrative he's got that I kept on asking, let's go with that one instead. I couldn't care less because October the 21st, we get to settle it out. So
yeah, no, for sure.
Knockout Legends in the building. Like, comment and subscribe. So today I want to talk about the press conference for Joshua Buatsi versus Dan Azeez. Now this is a final eliminator. It's on the 21st of October and these guys are friends. Now, from the first looks of the press conference, it's kind of chill, but there's a tension laying beneath the surface, and it's in both camps with both fighters, especially with Buatsi. You can see there's a little bit of needle in certain things that he says and how he acts. With Dan, I think he's got a quiet sort of confidence and he's got something to prove. Because in the gloves off, he said he was always the little guy with the chip on his shoulder, so he had to prove it. And he said he had to come and grind and go through it the hard way. So basically from the bottom all the way to where he's got to with all the titles that he's won. So there's kind of a self-reliance and self-belief in himself. And I think everyone sees Buatsi as this golden boy that's been spoon-fed. So he's had everything handed to him. But in the same breath, the same thing could be said about Buatsi. They're very, very similar characters in the way they approach things, because Buatsi has that same mindset where he's had to grind to get to where he's got to. You don't just get into the Olympics. You have to show that you've got the ability and show how good you are amateur-wise, then progress, and then you get in the Olympics, which is what Buatsi's done. And that's why he obviously went to the Olympics and won a medal. So you can see the contrasting narratives that have been played out. And there is this thing where Buatsi even said himself he didn't want to fight Dan when he moved to boxer. So he kept asking for other fighters, but he said he'd only fight Dan if there was something there on the line, which there is now. It's the final eliminator. So now he's fighting Dan. And Dan thinks it's like, you're only fighting me now because it's the easiest fight that you have to fight. And because I'm there where you are, I've grinded to get where you are now. You've had an easy route. And in a kind of way, you could kind of say that's kind of true, because Dan's fought the harder opposition and he's had more fights. So there is that. But Buatsi's got more of an amateur background, so he's done it in a shorter length of time, and he's younger, so there is that as well. But the little needle that he gave Ben Shalom about being on Team Azeez, that was funny, because you kind of see that Ben's kind of rooting for the underdog. In this sense, Dan's the underdog, but Dan's sort of the favourite, which is kind of bizarre. I don't know how you can be both things at at one time. It don't really make sense, because in one sense, on paper, he should be the favourite because of who he's fought and what he's done and the accomplishments that he's got. But technically, because of Buatsi's Olympic pedigree and he's come through the amateurs, he's the underdog. So in one aspect, on paper, he's probably technically the favourite on paper because of what he's done and what he's got. But in public opinion, he's the underdog because of Buatsi's amateur background and his amateur and obviously his Olympic pedigree. So there's two narratives playing there, contradicting each other, which is kind of weird. And I think the promoters even gave Dan as the slight favourite in this fight, which is bizarre as well, you know what I mean? But I don't know, people are going to say whatever they're going to say to sell a fight. Now, with them being friends, I think this is going to be a really, really good fight. It's going to be like a throwback fight. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be kind of even reminiscent to Hagler and Hearns, because you're going to have the two kind of fighters that have got their own style, and no one's going to relent. You know, one's going to be coming forward pressuring and one's going to be boxing. So it's going to be a good fight. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody gets dropped and has to get up off the canvas to grind it out to win. We're going to see, I reckon, if it goes the distance, someone's getting dropped. And if they're getting dropped, you know, they may not get up. But in this fight, I can see a knockout. I can actually see a knockout if it doesn't go the distance, because it's going to be brutal. And the South London element as well. You know, when you have these kind of rival clashes, it's like football matches. It's proper, fierce, intense. It's bitter. You know, I think they'll go back to being friends, but I think we can see another classic fight, like reminiscent to the Crawford versus Porter fight. They were two friends as well, and they said they'd never fight, and then they fought, and basically we got one of the best fights we ever could see. And you could see how much it meant to Terence as well. Sorry to go off track. When he won, because he knew Sean wasn't an easy person to fight. You know, Sean is underrated, and it's true. He doesn't really get his flowers he should, but that's boxing. And he retired Sean Porter. So what does that say about Terence? But anyway, back onto Buatsi and Azeez. I can predict, I think someone's getting knocked out and getting stopped. Yeah. If it doesn't go the distance, and if it does, it may be a late stoppage. But for this fight, if I had to pick, it's kind of hard. But I'm gonna go with Azeez, just because I like the way he fights, and I like his determination, and I like the way he grinds out victories, and he does turn up fight night. It's weird. He said that in sparring and like. When he first started his career, he's not been the best, and he's had to just learn and do things the way he's done them, and he's done it the old school way, where he's gone from 1 win to 2 wins to to this title, to Southern Area, to English, to British, so forth, just progressing slowly, not jumping ahead like the fighters do today. A lot of fighters just jump the progression instead of fighting the fighters that they're supposed to fight at each particular level to see where they're at when they fight at that level. That way you gauge how good the fighter actually is from European then to world level, then you know what you're dealing with. So anyway, leave your thoughts in the comment section, like, comment and subscribe, and that is another one from Knockout Legends. Peace.